Good morning, guys. I'm gonna make some breakfast. Pretty easy. Same stuff that I always make. Basically gonna make myself some eggs, some toast, and some strawberries. You guys have seen my video already. I've made this before, so you guys can just follow along and check it out today. We're gonna get started. One big thing is I have had a few questions that people have been asking. I'm gonna answer some of them. First one is, how did I get into the fitness industry? So I got into the fitness industry, I guess by mistake, I would say. I had a buddy of mine who was really into bodybuilding and stuff like that. I wasn't really super into fitness, but I worked out. Did whatever I really wanted to do. Really didn't have a plan while working out. My buddy, I guess we'll call him my professor. My professor at this time was super into bodybuilding. He was always working out at the gym, always lifting weights. Basically, we became really good friends. We became best friends. We moved in with each other. When we started living together, he was always inviting me to the gym. So I started going to the gym with him. I remember his workouts were completely different from what I was doing at the time. I was doing a lot of running. I was doing a lot of biking. I was barely lifting weights. I came from a cross-country background and wrestling background, so I wasn't really lifting a lot of weights. I just wanted to be agile, fast, and be able to pick someone up and slam them down. Basically, that's all I wanted to do. We start working out together. Again, around this time, I'm probably weighing in around maybe a $155. I'm just like this skinny dude who's always just had a six-pack. I know, poor me. As we went in through the gym, I remember my professor was bench pressing 135 pounds as a warm-up. He was just knocking it out. Boom, boom, boom. He knocked out probably like a good 12 reps at that 135. It's my turn. My buddy and I have always worked, I would say we weren't the same strength. I was just a little bit more agile than him. He was way stronger than I was. I jump on, I'm like, all right, cool, 135, I got this. I don't know why in my head, I thought I could totally do this. I got this, I'm 155, bench pressing 135. Easy, I can knock out 12 reps. No big deal. I lift the weight. I'm thinking to myself, this is really heavy. I don't even think I'm gonna get 3 reps. I'm a beginner, I'm a newbie in the gym. My professor, just go for it, bro. He asked me what I could do in the beginning. I said, I don't know, I've never really bench pressed. There I am, 135 pounds on the bar, getting ready to bench. In my mind, I remember it so vividly. I grabbed the bar, I lifted up. I remember I had no idea what I was doing. I knew I had to bring it down to my chest and press it back up. I'm laying there and I'm like very wobbly, trying to stabilize myself. I bring the bar down. I remember it was the worst 135 pound press that I could think of. And it was like, ugh. Of course, I look exactly like a newbie. I failed. The cool thing my professor did is, he says, how about we bring the weight down? I was like, what? Bring the weight down? There's no way. If you're doing 135, I can do 135. And he goes, yeah, man, but you're new to this, so we got to kind of start you somewhere else. 135 was my benchmark when I first started. I hit the 135. We were at 135, and so he brings the weight down to 95 pounds. He goes, try and knock out at least 8 reps at 95 pounds. I said, solid, I got this. It's less than 135, this can't be that hard. I pick the bar up again. There's 95 pounds on the bar. I don't think I can get 8 reps. I'm gonna try. 1, 2, number 3, I remember, fatigue. Trying to get it up and shaky and crazy. I know a bunch of you guys who've ever lifted. I think we've all been there. Unless for you guys that are just naturally strong motherfuckers. You guys are just monsters, which is awesome. 95 pounds. He says, if you can't knock out 8, then we're gonna have to bring it down a little bit more. I was like, well, how much more can we bring it down? And he goes, well, you see those 10s over there? Let's go grab those 10s, put a 10 each side, and then let's grab 5s and we'll put 15 pounds on each side. So that'll give you like 75 pounds. Now, a little bit of context. I'm really good at gym math. Any other math, can't do it. So, gym math, I got you. Any other math, I don't got you. There's like 75 pounds on this bar now. And he goes, all right, man, knock out 8. You're gonna do at least 3 to 5 sets of 8. He set up his bench over on the other side. I just looked at him very enviously, like, oh, I wanna bench press 135 so bad. I remember thinking to myself, I'm gonna do more of this so that I can bench 135. I was benching like maybe 2 or 3 times a week. I would go when he wasn't there, when my professor wasn't there, and I'd bench press. I try to be as safe as I can, but I always needed advice from my professor. Let me flip these eggs, hold on. He helped me out with a lot of the process of getting into the gym. After a while, I started learning a little bit more about mechanics, started learning a little bit more about how your body moves. I started learning more about weightlifting. I started reaching out to other people. When Instagram first started coming out, I remember I reached out to Bradley Martin. That was a crazy experience. That's a whole different story in itself. It was a fun time. That's how I got into the fitness industry, was because a buddy of mine was benching a lot more than me. I was a nurse at the time. So being a nurse, we're always in the hospital, working and moving around and whatnot. I always felt like I didn't have a lot of time to put into the gym. It all comes down to what you make time for. So I remember eventually, long story short, I got to 135. This was probably took maybe almost a year to knock out 12 reps at 135 pounds. I remember my professor came up and he goes, hey man, are you ready for 135? He goes, that 95 has been looking good. 115 has been looking great. 125 has been looking awesome. He goes, I think you're ready for 135. He goes, and we're gonna try to shoot at least 10 to 12 reps at 135. I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. And the crazy thing is I was very patient. Even though my ego hurt a lot, I was super patient. I waited, I did the weights that he explained to me. I'm a really big rule follower when it comes to the gym and stuff like that. If someone tells me and puts a plan in front of me, I'm gonna follow that plan to a T. I'm gonna trust that my coach or professor, or whoever it is doing exactly what they need to do. I did exactly what he told me. I did everything. He said, you'll be able to bench 135 for 10 to 12 reps soon. It was almost a year. Get under the bench, pick up 135, and it didn't feel as heavy. I remember knocking out the reps. I got to 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to 12. My 12th rep, it felt slightly hard, and I thought, you know what? I got 3 more in me. 1, and then 2, and then I hit my 3rd one for 15 reps, and I remember I racked it. And I was so proud of myself. I stood up for the rack. My professor was so proud too. He was just so excited that I was able to do that and that his plan came together. He showed me and educated me that that worked. Now, at this point, I remember I was looking into bodybuilding and I was looking at bodybuilding magazines and learning about C.T. Fletcher and Phil Heath and Kai Greene and a whole bunch of these other famous bodybuilders, Ronnie Coleman, everybody. I started looking at all these guys and I started thinking, man, I can totally compete. I bet I can get huge. And at this time, I probably put on like a good solid 5 to 6 pounds of muscle during my bodybuilding era, I guess, if you want to call it, or my newbie gains that I got. That's what everybody calls it, your newbie gains. You get your newbie gains. I put on like a good 5, 6 pounds of like really good muscle. I felt good. My clothes, my extra small t-shirts were fitting a little tighter than normal, so I had to upgrade to just small t-shirts. That was a big win for me. I started going through the process again. I remember everything he taught me and told me. I knew a lot about weightlifting now. I remember I'm gonna compete. I haven't trained anybody. I thought I'm gonna compete. I asked my professor, we should do a bodybuilding show together. I remember he always wanted to do a bodybuilding show. He never did it. He goes, yeah, man, go for it. You can do it. I never understood why he didn't want to do a bodybuilding show. I guess I'll ask him later when I see him. There I am, and I'm like, yeah, you can train me. He's like, yeah, man. He goes, I know how to weight lift, and I know how to do this and that. He knew a lot more than I did. He started lifting when he was 15 years old. He continued to do it throughout the whole process. He's like, I can help you, I can help you. I was like, all right, cool. Basically, he said, we need to gain more weight so you can have more muscle so you won't look like Skeletor on stage. We went through the process, everything like that. He helped me out to as far as he could help me because he only had an extensive knowledge of so much of how to do the shows and how to get there. When it came to posing and all this other stuff, he couldn't really help me. So I started meeting a lot of other people in the bodybuilding community, which is a great community. I met this guy, his name was Matt Quillis. He's a twin, actually. They have a rock and roll band, which is awesome. That's another story too. I met Matt Quillis. He started training me. He started showing me everything about bodybuilding, started showing me posing and all kinds of different stuff, which was awesome as well. That's how I got into the fitness industry. I basically started competing. I thought, man, I could totally do this for a living. I was a nurse at the time. So I started creating a side quest for myself and seeking out people and what I needed to do to become a trainer, basically. that's how I got into the fitness industry. One thing led to another. I started training more people and I started having more fulfillment out of personal training and nutrition than being a nurse. So I transitioned over and basically made it happen. That's my story. Thanks for listening, guys. Breakfast is served.